And so the technologies have to be built to be able to support that. Connecticut is already positioned and ahead of the curve and needs to continue to ride this unbelievable wave of opportunity that has been created. Another trend I would like to bring to your attention is the generational change. Media consumption is showing that channels are becoming increasingly more segmented, like we discussed before with the fragmentation. But what's happening is that there's a shift to new media outlets. And these new media outlets need to be continued to be built and developed and implemented into the education and the training programs that are initiated through the programs such as the ones that Connecticut has initiated. The last point, as far as the key trends that I think is relevant to discuss here today, is increase in bandwidth. Why bandwidth is increasing means that there's more opportunity, but it also means there's more demand. As the rationale for the allocation of media space, spectrum, and infrastructure fades away, content creation must embrace technology. So, my analysis of these trends for you today, I've tried to drill it down into some very simple points. So media, entertainment, and related industries are positioned at the center of massive global growth. The digitization of content has created a need for content creators to be instant, interactive, and integrative. Consumer demand for content is insatiable. And with the advent of social media and social networking such as MySpace, Twitter, and Facebook, we've spawned a generation of content creators and infinite possibilities for the distribution of both short-form and long-form audio and visual content. So what does this mean to Connecticut? As Jimmy has highlighted, digital media is the future of entertainment, but it's also the past and the present. If you know anything about quantum physics, which I know very little, my husband studies it all the time, I've gotten the takeaway, which is this. In order to tap into the infinite potential, traditional media must embrace the digital revolution. The digital revolution in technology makes time nonlinear, with the availability and the capabilities to create new content and repurpose old content. 35 millimeter content that hasn't been able to be delivered before is now in high def quality. And the production, the ability to produce that is becoming less expensive, which opens up the playing field for more content creators to exist. So it used to be the old saying that it was location, location, location brought about revenue in dollars. But I would like to add and repurpose the notion for the entertainment industry that the future ability to monetize on the opportunities available is infrastructure, infrastructure, infrastructure. With Connecticut's rich cultural history and close proximity to the Big Apple, if we build it here, they will come because they're already here. The they are the we. Connecticut has, evidenced by the many, many talented people and producers and students and union heads that are all part of this process. Connecticut needs to be a part of the change it wants to see, which is a repurposed statement from Gandhi. So, but that's what intellectual property attorneys do. We repurpose content. And I think in summation, it's really up to the state legislators to continue to finance and add the legal infrastructure and the financial support to develop these raw materials, which aren't so raw, and take the unbelievable talent right here in our own backyards and embrace technology and the digital media tax credits and continue to provide the support to the community because we're already ahead of the curve. So we're already there, and why not take it and run with it? So I hope that was helpful.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I'll go away. There might be a few questions.
Sure.
First, Jennifer, I wasn't quite sure what you were going to... Hello. Hello, Jennifer. Great to see you again. Wasn't quite sure what your presentation was going to be today, but for the listening audience, many of you may be aware of this, but the ones like me not aware of what Jennifer was talking about until I met two individuals, actually one from California, one from New York, that are actually at that next phase, that next level, what you're talking about. So for all of us that may not understand what Jennifer's talking about, I guess I would compare it from the industrial age to the digital age of what the next stage is. We have two companies already, Jen, that are looking to promote and to invest in that infrastructure that you're talking about. As we all know, the speed of digital and the next phase is going to be huge in the industry. So what we're getting now in digital, in 10 years may be obsolete of what she's talking about, the next phase that they're working on next. So it's quite amazing how these things are working, how fast they're coming up. But listen to what Jennifer says, because if you want to be in on the ride, now's the time to listen and start bringing these companies in. Maybe we'll do, if the chairman wants, I'll have these two individuals come to maybe during session to do some testimony on exactly what the next phase is. But it was pretty exciting. I did not know you were going to be discussing that today.
Secret weapon, but
it was really quite amazing. Believe me, my mouth was wide open at the time trying to figure out what these guys were trying to. I finally got it.
Well, to make it so simple, to maybe further illustrate, I was having a conversation with Fred Maynard this morning, and he said, I said, this is what I'm going to discuss today. I'm just going to hopefully give perspective of the background of the canvas of real-life application of what's going on with these digital media tax credits and why it's so critical. He said, this is the reversal of the original conversion discussions of the 90s. It used to be that the intention was that broadcast would be driving, and that the electronic media would just be one of the engines that would drive broadcast media. And underestimation is success's best friend. No one saw that electronic media would become the way that technology would be experienced and delivered and appreciated in a seamless, integrative platform. And I think this state, my state, that I'm so proud to be here and be a part of, is really have gotten that. So let the rest of the world underestimate the importance of technology and digital media, but clearly we're not. And so thank you for allowing me to share my thoughts and perspectives with you here today.
No, I don't want any sibling.
Going to say Mrs.
Well, and Christy and Jen have to be.
She's like, not so fast, you're not leaving yet.
Just so
I have to say
make sure that they are related for they are sisters.
I'm 6 years
genuine
old.
questions. I have genuine questions. She schools me all the time, but these are genuine questions about her presentation. Can you just explain bandwidth to me a little bit more? Like this increasing concept of bandwidth? I mean, that's something that seems intangible, but technological at the same time.
When you
What
talk
is
about,
bandwidth?
well, I am not a technology expert. I'm a content expert, but so my understanding as it relates to the importance of bandwidth is whether it's coming from its spectrum, right? I mean, and I think we do have an expert here, and I was thinking about Fred, who might be able to chime in here on bandwidth. But for example, Chrissy, in developing countries, the internet has now shifted up from dial-up to broadband. So broadband is a way that content is being delivered. It's a platform. And the rapid pace of increase in bandwidth continues to be indefinite, because now content can be delivered on the internet. It no longer has just to be through traditional broadcast mediums. And as the bandwidth increases through mobile distribution and internet, it creates the opportunity for content. Anyone can be a content creator. There's endless, infinite opportunity for people to get their content out and distribute it and deliver it worldwide, instantaneously. And I hope that's helpful.
So bandwidth is a broader concept that's more like
Of media
almost
spectrum.
Like the stock market, like it's valuable that you can actually invest in. And you were talking about infrastructure. You're actually emphasizing that. And you said embrace technology. So can you please define for the state of Connecticut embrace and define technology?